Okay, so today is the first day of this semester 4 season 2023 presentation, and I am Nirav Amrelia. So today I'll be making presentations on the topic that is the Julian Barnes, the only story is a memory narrative. So how memory plays a vital role in the whole novel, we will look at. It is the introductory part or the introductory slides of my presentation. So you will find the information about the novel. So first, let us understand the genre. It is the psychological fiction. So there is more of a psychology because memory it is involved in the narration by the narrator Paul Roberts, and many other minor characters like Joan is there and Susan McLeod is there. So let us move ahead. Yes. So first point is that the only story is a memory narrative. Now, the issue of temporal point of view, Campbell writes that the issue of temporal point of view, retrospect is key here. Paul is, as he tells us, revisiting and he admits inevitably, if unintentionally, revisioning personal history. So now memory, we can say that history is a collective memory and memory is a personal history. So these things is there. And here is the quotation that you understand, I hope, that I'm telling you everything as I remember. So here the memory is captured. The how Paul relies on his memory and he tells or he narrates his story to the audience or to the reader. So as far as the memory is concerned, it falls in the regime of unreliability because memory can never be reliable. We see why in further slides. Julian Barnes' novel, The Only Story 2018, can be read as a monograph on the complications of love. So it can be read as a monograph because only Paul is there to narrate every other's story. Like Paul, he tells himself that okay, I was there in my 19s, early 19s, and other people used to be like this according to my point of view, or in my opinion, or in my sight. So memory sorts and shifts according to the demands made on it by the rememberer. Do we have access to the algorithm of its priorities? Probably not. But I would guess that memory prioritizes whatever is most useful to help keep the bearer of those memories going. So now, the purpose of his story is to achieve something in fiction that he could not in reality. So, whatever he thought or he dreamt in his early youth, we can say, then he tried to achieve it through his dreams, through his memory. So, it becomes very significant that we people who are not who cannot get something or achieve in real life, so they will just dream, they will just write, or in expressing these things, they will get together there. So, like suppose this immortality is that we all know that we are not immortals, the men or the humans, we can say in ancient text, men means humans. So, but still in our narratives, we find that people are drinking the amrit or the nectar or elixir, they are becoming immortal and they are ruling the heaven, hell, or God, anything. So, it is the thing. And here is the Naipo, another quotation, like he reiterates his story to himself so that he might understand his experience better. He is mostly remembering. So, he is not telling factual data, he is not giving the factual data, but he is mostly remembering and even fictionalizing. So it is not the whole total truth or the we can say the raw truth coming in front of us, but he fictionalizes within that. And one another important thing is that Dipesh Chakravarti has also given the appropriate phrase that is trauma is memory. So while even Sigmund Freud also says that whenever whatever touches your emotions, it becomes the memory. It becomes the long-term part of your memory. So we are having two type of memory within us: that the short-term memory and another is the long-term memory. So here, whatever touches our emotional aspect, our emotional part, then it becomes the part of the long-term memory. So here, this term that trauma is the long-term memory, we can see while studying the character of Susan McLeod. So here is the quotation that how Susan felt that okay, her uncle when she was 16, when her father died, so she went to live with his her aunt and Uncle Humphrey. And how Uncle Hump used to take a sexual or physical advantage out of her. These things is there. So how it was the Susan's trauma that became her memory, the part of the long-term memory. Now, as soon as we say the memory, then as far as the interdisciplinary aspect of academics is concerned, then we have to locate it in the psychological field as well. So as and when we discuss or just refer to memory as a field for cognitive studies, the cognitive or the mental or the brain study, in psychology, some juggernaut psychologists such as Sigmund Freud, Sir Jean Piaget, Carl Jung, Sir Jacques Lacan, William James, and who gave their major portion of neurons in the pursuit of human behavior studies. So now, in his I have taken one book that in his groundbreaking book titled as "The Interpretation of Dreams." Freud makes a critical case for memory in context of his relations with dream and the function. So what in his works he does that in terms of the dreams that we feel or we see in sleep or we a bit of remember. So in what memory plays. So in terms of his giving, but how he raises one kind of spirit of doubt in memory. So he writes, the entire memory of the dream is open to an objection. The entire memory of a dream is open to an objection because memory can never be reliable. To depreciate its value very markedly in critical eyes. So it will be looked at objectively, not thoroughly subjectively, that okay, my memory is there, so it must be good, and whatever I narrate, it must be. No, it is not so. It must be critical point of view. It must imbued with critical point of view. One may doubt whether our memory, which omits so much from the dream, does not falsify what it retained. So whatever it omits from the dream, so does not falsify what it retained. So whatever we remember, it must not be falsified. Okay, so it must be like dealt with very objective aspect, without any bias, without any prejudice into it. Yes. So memory narratology, how it works. So first narratology comes, then we remember the name of Sir Jean Genet. Jean Genet. So here he's Genet, Janet. So it is Pierre Genet, the French psychologist. But the narratology, we are having the narration time, discourse time concept given by Sir Jean Genet. But here another person like the scholar, this Pierre Genet, he is a French psychologist. So he tells about memory, that the memory system is the central organizing apparatus of the mind. So central organizing apparatus of the mind. So it is there in the center. Even we in the middle part of this, our memory storage is located within the brain, which categorizes and integrates all aspects of experiences and automatically integrates them into ever enlarging and flexible meaning schemes. So whatever experience we get throughout our life, so it is our part, this mental part, it tries to give always this, okay, there must be some meaning, that you have seen this dream, then there must be some meaning related to your life, as Sigmund Freud has also said. And as well, this Sir Carl Jung also tells about this collective unconscious. So whatever is written through the unconscious of the people, so it becomes the. So, but now again, Paul tells, but I would guess that memory prioritizes, that memory always prioritizes, because innately we are having one purpose, that our brain gives us, we have to be happy. That this some kind of bylight generated, we are doing some activities, we are listening to the music, or we are doing whatever we like do. So that is why that, but I would guess that memory prioritizes. So what does it prioritize? Because basically it prioritizes our good experiences or good memories, and not bad one. But later it shifts to the bad as well. So giving or leaving man or human in the regime of sadness. Okay. And here is also a good point that Milman Perry has pointed out is based on oral poetics. So it is about the narration, the relation between memory and narration. So how, first of all, before the written poetry began, there was the ballad tradition. So people used to remember the ballad and they used to sing it, chant it in front. So it was that how memory and the narration is interconnected with each other, even from this ancient times. And memory is rooted in autobiographical fact, but it is also an art. Like memoir, so whatever you are providing in form of literature written, so it is rooted in autobiographical fact, so it comes from you, so it must be judged well. So but it is also art. Now the purpose of memory narration in postmodernist writing. So, what purpose is there in postmodernist writing? Where we are having modern age, starting from 1901 to the and lasting to up till 1950 to 1960. As soon as Sir Jacques Derrida came and he gave the theory of deconstruction in this lecture seminar. So, the purpose of bringing memory narratives into literary authorship can be to form the rigidly conservative minds of the reader and spectators into doubting and questioning minds, which can probe for further rather than relying on just what comes as sacred ancient scriptures or holy texts. So whatever we are given, so like I have taken one reference from this our early Indian Vedic tradition, that there are two types of knowledge system. Like the first one is Shruti, or whatever is listened to and then written, and another is Smriti. So whatever is remembered from the ancient sages and then it is written. So what Shruti basically constitutes, that is that our Vedas, Shruti, then Brahmanas is there, and Smriti considers of this Puranas, these epics, that Mahabharata, Ramayana, and other things like this. And as the statement, language bears within itself the necessity of its own critique, forms the base of deconstruction concept originated by Sir Jacques Derrida. So anything as soon as it is kept within inside, so it can be judged or it can be imagined, it can be dreamt in different ways. But as soon as it is spoken outside, that there will be the critical people, and it should be done. So as soon as any word or any phrase or any sentence is articulated, it must fall in the regime of the criticism. It must be done. Otherwise we will have to be like things like we cannot understand properly, we just grasp it or as it comes, but it should not be done. It has to be criticized, it has to be deconstructed. uh, and here are my works cited. Thank you. And now questions, please.
My question is, how does memory shape in the narratives of the only story, and what role does it play in the protagonist's understanding of past and present relationship?
Yes. Yes, as your question goes. Yes, as your question goes, that how does memory shape the narrative of the only story, and what role does it play in the protagonist's understanding of his past and present life? So basically, what role memory plays, like he remembers everything. At the same time, he is telling, okay, it is not that whatever I remember is true. So he tells that I am not reimagining memory, I am reconstructing, or rather, I am not reimagining or reconstructing. I am just telling. So this is the part that protagonist remembers, that whatever I am remembering right now of my early age, early youth of 19 years old, right now is 80. So it cannot be taken as literal, it cannot be true as well. So this is the understanding even protagonist gets, and he gives, or he gives to the readers as well, that don't rely whatever I say. Just go through it. And if you find it applicable to my life or my narration, then accept it. Otherwise, don't. So satisfied or yeah, the next.
Yes, Nirav. My question is there any evidence in the novel of that Paul's traumatic past, which might be the case that he is needing to dig his regretful past at this late in the life? And the other question is can we assume that Paul is amplifying his doubts and narrating it to us as far as the narration or memory is concerned? Humans mind tend to amplify our thoughts and
Yes, it is.
only consume that.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So the first question is there any evidence in the novel of Paul's traumatic past? So well, Paul's traumatic past was not there. Like he starts that oh, my home is like this and we are doing this. So he does not tell that, oh, these traumas are happened to me. He tells that, okay, the traumas are there in the Susan's life, in the Joan's life, but not in my life as such. So it is not, there is, I think there is no evidence as long as I've gone through the whole novel and through the schemes of characters as well, that deeply. But there is, I don't find that there is any evidence that Paul gives. So if you are having, then you can suggest it as well. And what was the second part? Okay, so he amplifies his thoughts in narrative. Yes. Can we assume that Paul is amplifying his doubts and narrating it to us? Well, he does so. He does so because whenever he depicts the character of Gordon MacLeod, he just tells, okay, how Gordon is the wicked guardian. That the fantastical aspect also comes, that Gordon, he compares Gordon with this wicked guardian, Susan with the pretty maid, and himself is the brave gladiator. As long as he is telling about this his life or Susan's life, then he narrates Susan as very well-mannered woman. He hides the bedsides of the Susan. So that is why he amplifies, relying on his personal taste, palettes, or personal biases, we can say prejudices. Satisfied? Yes, thank you.